Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Thursday night, and my name is Jessica Pope. I am an Optavia coach and been coaching for 3 years now. Um, I will be talking to you guys tonight with Sarah Bond and a few of her amazing clients that are going to be sharing as well. And I cannot wait to hear from them. But we're going to be talking to you tonight, giving you the scoop on some of the most effective ways to achieve your overall goal. And a few things that I want to bring your attention to is the fact that these calls are interactive. So I'm going to be paying attention to the chat now and then throughout the call. So if you want to comment or ask questions or send some encouragement, I will be paying attention to the chat, responding to people that way as well. But to start off, because we are talking about how to achieve your goals and what's going to help get you there. So I would love if you could put in the chat your favorite component. So we have the 4 components, not just the nutrition plan, but we do have the nutrition plan. We have the life book. We have the community. Yep, somebody already said the community. And we have our coach connection. So what is the component? What is one of the 4 components that you tend to gravitate towards the most or really love the most, or, it's not hard to dive into it by as much. Oh, a lot of the community. I mean, makes sense since you're on here. The community, coaching community, educational. All right, the life book. That's awesome. I was not, just full transparency. The life book was not my first favorite and most easy component to jump in on. I love it. And no one has said the nutrition. Wow. That's awesome. Community and education. That is so good. So for me, it was the nutrition. I just jumped in. I'm like, I just tell me what to eat and I'll eat it, and so I did. But with the life book and I did do well with the coach, with the one-on-one coaching. But it was hard to dive into the other components. It's just, community was fun, but man, that life book just really got me at first. I did not even open up my life book until I became a coach, which thank God I became a coach because I would not know a word that was in the life book if it wasn't for becoming a coach and that holding myself accountable. Um, okay, so now I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you have ever found yourself saying any of these phrases to your coach or maybe thinking some of these phrases. So put a 1 chat if any of these resonate with you now or in the past. Gosh, I wish I could stay on plan long enough to get into fat burn. Or this just isn't coming as easy now as it did before. Or why am I gaining my weight back? And what about how is it easy for them? Or they reach their goal, why can't I? How are they keeping their weight off? Why can't I? So put a 1 in the chat if that's ever been you. All right, 1. That I could put a lot of 1s there for myself. So I know that a lot of us have found our place in that position. So as you see, all the 1s, you're not alone. But the good news is there's also a solution to that. So the D, could you put up the image? This is just a little simple image that I have to kind of simply show you the breakdown. All right, so here we go. Here's the solution to feeling that way. The life book, these 3 components, the life book, the community, and the coach connection, those are the 3 components that are meant to pave the way for you to reach that optimal health. So many times we can find ourselves focusing on, okay, let's say community. Oh, I can really jump in. That's so great. It's fun to, to get on these calls. It's fun. I'm plugging in, or, I'm talking to my coach. And if we're missing one of those components, and we're still struggling, but we're not willing to be honest with ourselves and say, okay, I've got this area good. I'm good in this area, but I'm struggling to read my life book, but I'm also struggling to stay on plan. What if you were just super intentional with diving into your life book? Just being very intentional and saying, okay, you know what? I recognize that is, and I'm using life book because that was my struggle and still can be. Um, so if you just dive in and say, you know what, I'm gonna be honest with myself, be honest with my coach, and that's the area that I'm weaker in, that I don't tend to focus on. So that all three of those can point you and pave the way for the nutrition plan to work the way it's designed to. Um, so whenever we tend to focus on just the coach call, and it'd be fun to talk to our coach, and chat. A lot of us are probably even knew our coach beforehand, and it's fun to catch up. But if we're not being real with them and real with ourselves and where we stand in every component of our program, we are missing out. We are not getting the full benefits that the program has to offer. And we can find ourselves struggling in one of these areas, and it all points right to that missing link. And if you have all of your links together, then it's going to pave the way much easier for your optimal health to reach your goal and to be able to maintain that weight loss and that healthy living. Um, so I'm going to turn it over to Sarah and her wonderful clients that will be speaking and sharing with you guys about more details on these components.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Jessica. That was an awesome introduction. Just to give an overview of what we're going to cover tonight. So love, love, love that. First, we're going to have three speakers just speak for a couple of minutes on some things. Each one of them is going to speak on something that they love or that has really helped them. So we're going to start with my client and friend, Ann Heckel. She's from here in Kentucky with me, and she started her health journey right in the smack dab middle of the holidays just a couple of months ago. She's rocking it out, and she's already about to go into transition and maintenance. So I'm so proud of her. Anne, do you want to join us? Come off mute.
Hi.
There we go. Hey.
Hey. So thank you so much, Sarah, for your encouragement and your introduction. And I am super excited to share with you guys tonight just some of the things that I absolutely loved about the Life book. So one thing, I watched Sarah along her journey, and one thing that I noticed is with this program that people actually lost the weight and kept the weight off. And I was very interested in finding out what actually all about the program and what tools they were. And I was so surprised to have the Life book. And I'll be honest, the first week I got my food, I did not know that this book was in the bottom of the box. Okay. And so I unpacked it on a Sunday morning, just getting prepared. And I was like, oh, wow, I love information and just reading. And one thing that I had decided was that investing in this program and in myself, that I was going to have to do things differently than what I had done in the past. And I started reading this book, and I absolutely loved it. The resources I really found in the Life book were things that I had not addressed in the past when I had tried to lose weight. I would always dive into the nutrition and drinking all the water and, even sometimes doing the exercise portion, but I wasn't looking at important things like sleep and habits and things that would be long-term for me to be successful, not just in hitting my goal, but in as I went into transition. And I love that there's a transition phase as well. So again, it just allowed me to see some areas in my life that I needed to work on. And I love that that life book, it really takes you through like, okay, what are you committed and what are you ready to dive into? Like, what's your commitment level? What are the challenges you're going to face? Just everybody's lifestyle is different. I own a business. No matter how hard I plan my day and plan my week, not one day goes exactly the way it's supposed to on my planner. And so, I love that the life book said, what challenges are you going to have? What's going to make you successful at these? How can you overcome these challenges? And then what's going to make you successful? And I was able to write that out and really think about it and plan for my week. So no excuses, because I literally had written down what all my excuses were going to be and overcame them. And so that gave me a lot of confidence, but also it allowed me to be prepared. I also really like that all of, creating, it helps you create those habits just a step at a time, new good habits for a healthy lifestyle. And that's been super helpful for me as well. So if you haven't gotten into your life book, I really encourage you to, because, this is as much, if not more, a mental game than it is a physical game. And the mental portion for me, I've chased the same 20 pounds, like up and down the scale, and even more than 20 pounds at times, especially after having children. I think I gained 50 pounds with each of my children. And I've chased that weight up and down and up and down. And I said, I've got to, I think that the life book is just a key component to address areas that you don't address when you just change the way you eat. So I really love that. And then about the transition, I'm getting ready to go into transition, and the transition plan was something that really attracted me to this program, because so many times we eat very restricted on a program, and then we just go right back to what we were doing before and gain the weight right back. And so I love that in this program, in the transition, it has you add in a vegetable, and then add in fruit, and do everything each week, step at a time. And I think that's so important to, you can one, see how your body is responding to each one of the, adding that back in, but then also you can tailor it really, for yourself. But I think it will help. It's going to help me, I know, to stay on my plan long term, to work through each step by step. So I love all the recipes that are provided, and I'm just really super excited about all the tools that I've had to work with. So, and Sarah's encouragement too, of course. So thank you.
I got to unmute myself. Thank you so much, Anne. Oh my gosh, so many nuggets in there of wisdom that you've already obtained in just this short amount of time. And I just love that. I love the fact that you pointed out the life book helps us plan in advance for roadblocks. Like, that's so valuable. That helps us to have more control in our lives. And so, we all have things that come up, and I love that. I love it's a mental game just as much or more than it's a physical game. That's just gold. So thank you, Anne, so much. Now I'm going to turn it over to another Kentucky girl, my friend Michelle McKinney. She's been on program for about 7 months or so, and she's also completely rocking it out. And she's going to share a little bit about the Coach Connection for just a couple minutes. Are you on here, Michelle?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yay! Take it away.
All right. Well, like you said, I started my health journey about 7.5 months ago. I have lost 45 pounds. I believe one of the reasons that I've been so successful is my check-ins and talking to you weekly. All of us have a unique health journey that we're on, but the one thing that we all have in common is that we have all started with our health coach. And our coaches have been here with us from the very beginning, cheering us on and supplying different things that we need along the road. There's so many reasons that, I think our check-ins are so beneficial. One is weekly accountability. On the good weeks, I get to share my victory and, do my happy dance and act silly. And then on the weeks that I'm struggling, Sarah's there to help pick me up and, remind me that I'm not alone and that, we all struggle from time to time, and, make sure that mentally I'm okay, and, that I need to just make the next right decision and keep going forward and not stay in the rut that I'm in. Also during those 10-minute check-ins, weekly, regardless of the success that I have had, I am reminded that my health is worth it. That I am capable of making the changes in my life to be a healthier me. And then after my check-ins, I feel so energized and empowered and focused and ready to jump right back in and do what's best and make the right decisions for myself. Our coaches are also a wealth of knowledge, so during our check-ins, we can also ask questions, and they share so many things with us, the tips and the recipes and fueling hacks and new products information, and just anything to help us be successful on our journey. And I know Sarah, is being my coach, she has been my lifeline, bless her heart, because I am a very needy client. But with her positivity and her love for this program, is absolutely contagious, and I've fallen in love with it too. So I just can't say enough about how much the check-ins weekly mean to me. And I know that our coaches are all rooting for all of us. So thank you.
Ah, Michelle, you're so amazing. And I mean, I agree with everything you said, except you are not needy. You're you're an awesome client, and I absolutely adore you. I love that you pointed out, that relationship that we're able to build, and that trust, and just holding space for you as a client. And that accountability piece is just so important for all of us. And then we can strategize about those things that come up. And I just love that you pointed that out too. And it is so important that we have somebody cheering for us in our corner to remind us of how worthy we are, and how important that we are, and how capable that we are. So thank you so much, Michelle. Love you, girl. And I'm going to toss the baton over. We are heading out of Kentucky and we're going over into New York. So my coach, she's on a coach on my team. She started as a client a while back. We were randomly assigned to one another, and we have become fast friends. And I just love you, Michelle. And she's going to give us a few minutes on the community aspect.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And I love you right back. And what Michelle was just saying about, the coach check-in, we've never missed a coaching call, but I only get to talk to, Sarah once a week with our check-in call. So I'm a big cheerleader for the community aspect of it. And these, weekly community calls, it's just such a huge part. I'm a people person, I'm a teacher. So I just need to have other people, doing this journey alone isn't easy. And so it's nice to have people share their ideas, their struggles, and it just helps me each week. It's just another way to kind of refresh and refocus myself on my own health journey. And it feels good when other people are sharing their wins, their challenges. And it's also, to me, like another therapy session. I mean, everybody's so positive and so welcoming, and it's just kind of like a giant hug each week. So who doesn't need a hug each week, especially when you're struggling and you're doing everything you think you're supposed to be doing, and it's not going maybe exactly how you want it to go. So I just love the community calls, and especially our team calls when we actually get to see the faces, and it's just so much more intimate. So that's one piece of the community that I love. And the other piece is our Facebook community. I have, at first, when I was first a client, I could not get anything to waffle in the dash. Like it just burned, it stuck, and I was ready to throw the thing through the window. And, Sarah was just like, post a question in the group. And I'm like, oh God, they're going to think I'm stupid. They're not going to, and everybody just was throwing these ideas, and it works now. What would I be without my dash? So everybody was just so helpful to share their ideas, the recipes. And I don't remember who, and it may be somebody that's on this call, but somebody talked about they didn't get their box yet, their next order. And they had 2 fuelings, and one they didn't really like, the chocolate chip cookie one. And I didn't really like it either. So I was like, I don't know what to do. They mixed it with the pancake, just the plain pancake. And then I did it. And that is now like one of my favorite things to do. So just getting all these ideas on Facebook, asking the questions, everybody is really all there to support each other. And, the community is there to help us all succeed. So I'm kind of a big cheerleader for that. So thank you so much for letting me share and all the love here.
Ah, love that, Michelle. Love you. And I think my favorite thing that you said was the community is like a giant hug. That's like the perfect way to say it. I couldn't say it any better myself. So absolutely love that. So thank you all 3 for joining us and touching on all those things for us with all the components. But I'm gonna kind of tie things together, or at least try to, for you guys. And I really just want to thank you all for being here and really welcome you. I know you've already been welcomed, but I'm just so grateful that you're spending a few minutes with us tonight, whether it's live or on record. And welcome you to the new year too. I mean, I'm excited for what's to come for you and for me and for us as a community of Health Crusaders. And that might be bold, but I feel like we are Health Crusaders. So getting real with you, since this is real talk tonight, and it always is real talk, but we just thought that was a fun way to put it. But when I first started this program in 2020, I genuinely thought, yeah, the nutrition part is all I'm really missing, and that's all I really need. And, the rest of all of that just sounds like a bunch of fluff. So crazy to think now I'm coaching others and speaking on calls like this when I started like that. But you see, I was so used to going most things alone in pretty much everything I did, especially my history of dieting in the dark. I didn't want anyone to know how out of shape I had become. And if I didn't tell anyone what I was doing, and if I kept it all to myself, it wouldn't feel as bad if I failed, right? And I had failed a lot, let me tell you. But getting started with this, my coach advised me to stay connected, and something stirred in me just enough for me to listen. I had heard Dr. A say something about being open and curious, and thought, well, maybe I should just be open and curious enough to see what this whole thing is about. And I've really come to realize over time, our coaches make the suggestions for us, but we make the decisions. And that's powerful. If any of the following questions or thoughts resonate with you, put the word same in the chat. How often before starting program did you think something like, if someone would just tell me what to do and it would work, I would definitely do it? Or, I wish I didn't feel so lost. I don't even know where to begin to get my health under control. I mean, like I was saying all that. Or like me, you'd look at that person that seems to have it all together, that you've always admired, or maybe, I mean, let's be honest, envied a little, and thought, how does he or she do it? And why can't I? Or how often before starting program did anyone ever ask you, what do you really want for yourself? Or encourage you to take some intentional time just for you? I mean, nobody was ever asking me any of that. Or asked you to dream bigger just for you. I thought all of those things, and I was never asked any of those questions before this program, but we have all of that now. This program and community we all are choosing to be a part of encourages us to dream, strive for long-term health, celebrates us for stepping out of our comfort zone, recognizes that failure is a huge part of success, helps us to find our personal wins, always encourages us to dust ourselves off and keep going, and encourages us to love ourselves now in the becoming. Because the truth is, we're all always becoming. None of that is found in a fueling, a drug, a surgery. Those things can all be very helpful, yes, but typically not too helpful long term, all alone. Confidence in our ability to create and sustain change can be found, though, when we dive all in to our habits of health, lean into our coach support, and our community. All these processes and pieces to our journey are crucial. And we as coaches, we know that because we're real people with real stories, experiences, failures, successes, knowledge, and hope on our own path to live lives of intentionality. Most of us have tried going it alone, and most of us have left parts out and come back to realize that we do need it all. We learn from being imperfect in our paths. And we're reminded of the power of community when we think of each of our stories of how we learned about this program to begin with. Typically, that's by either someone deciding to coach and sharing, or by being referred to the program. But it's a beautiful thing that all of us are able in some way to turn around, extend a hand, and say, walk with me and I'll walk with you. I mean, that's powerful community. I heard this recently from a fellow wise coach, Rebecca Gibson, shout out. And it resonated big with me, like big time. So I hope it does for you too. What if you were a carpenter going out to build a house, but you said, you know what? I'm going to leave my hammer and nails at home. How much house would we actually be able to build? Can we actually build sustainable habits if we leave key tools in the toolbox? But by taking these tools out of our toolbox, we're able to really plug in little by little, showing up for ourselves in those small ways, a 5-minute check-in, reading a couple pages in our books before bed, listening to our community calls while we fold that never-ending mound of laundry, can add up to big changes. Dr. A calls it changing our lives one healthy habit at a time. But those small changes can really swing great big doors. One of the biggest changes and awakenings that I've had myself and see so many of my clients experience is how we view ourselves. Those self-limiting labels, that negative voice in our head that tends to create. I used to use words like self-sabotager, quitter, couch potato, too busy, all that about myself. But when we show up practicing those small daily and weekly habits, we can start to curate more positive labels within ourselves and shift to words like capable, healthy, active, determined, intentional, overcomer. And we're more likely to live up to those the more we use them. We create trust and wins so those new ways of thinking can take root and grow. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said, every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. And I just love that. It actually ties right in with Dr. A's lead from the future, act in the now. They really know their stuff, don't they? On August 23rd, 2020, I ate my first ever fueling. And by September 18th, not even a full month later, I was packing my bag, including my fuelings, with the most haunting sense of dread I've ever known, to go stay by my dad's side in hospice as he passed away. Sorry. Many of you have heard me say before that my world was falling apart in many ways. That was just one of them at the time, and my heart was shattered. I could barely function. Dr. A asks, what can you do on your worst day? And that was definitely put to the test. I wasn't perfect in any way, shape, or form, and still am so far from it. But I know that we have a program that at least makes our quest for help a bit easier on our worst days. And boy, was I grateful to have an uplifting community to learn and to learn from and to lean into that felt like a glimmer of light in the dark. I quickly came to realize it was not just fluff, but became something to look forward to, gave me something I could control when everything else was spinning out of control around me, and it helped me to be hopeful again. Each part of this program is researched, studied, and developed to help all of us imperfect people, we're all imperfect, truly feel successful in our journey toward the healthy lifestyle that we really want deep within us. There's a good reason for each part of it. So with that being said, we're wrapping up. Is there any part or parts that you may be avoiding that could be holding you back? I can think of one for me that I'm actively working on. Whatever that may be could really change so much for us. I'm going to wrap up with a challenge for all of us, myself included, to text your coach after this call and let them know what that component might be and a small step that you're going to commit to take to press forward in that area. Our hope and prayer is that this finds you open, curious, and encouraged. We love you all, and we fiercely believe in you. Have a great night, and I'm going to toss it over to Dee for just a second.
You are one hard act to follow, Sarah Bond. That was powerful, powerful. If you're on this call, obviously your health, your future is important to you, and you are important to us. So we've got two things coming up that we just wanted to pop in and make sure you're aware of, that you can get on your calendars. The first being, we are going to have a Revive and Thrive 21-day experience that incorporates all 4 components of the program in a system that's going to help you start to create those daily habits. Because as Sarah said, there is likely an area that you may not be, really focusing on, et cetera. And if you are, this will just reinforce it. So that starts on January 21st. You're going to see more in our coach group or client group, and also your coach can give you the registration link. And the second is right before that on Saturday, the 20th. If you've gotten value from this, excuse me, we are going to take it up a notch. And we're going to have, excuse me, I need some water, a Be More in 24 virtual experience for you. And that is on Saturday. It is January 20th from 9 to 10:30. And so we will have more about the program, more stories of inspiration, and we're going to have one, if not two, neuro specialists that work with the brain that are going to help us understand ourselves better and actually better equip ourselves to be able to make sustainable change. And we're also going to have a chef that's going to do a healthy cooking demo. So it's going to be a lot of fun. That is Saturday the 20th at 9 a.m. if you want to mark your calendar. So this particular call, this community call, happens the second Thursday of every month. So if you want, just put it as a reoccurring event in your calendar with the link so you're always prepared. So I am inspired. Thank you, Sarah and Jessica and everybody who shared. Have a good night.